Hello and welcome to another Spectrum Geeks video. My name is Dale and behind this door is my loft, and this is where I keep my network and server rack that a few of you have asked to see. So we're going to pop inside and I'll take you through what I got. Okay, so welcome inside the loft. This video is going to be a little bit tricky to film because there's not a lot of space, but I'm going to do my best to show you. So in some of my Starlink videos, a few people had asked about what network setup I've got, what rack I'm using, everything. So I'm going to try and take you through all of that, how things are set up, how things are working, and yeah, you can ask any comments. Ask any comments in the questions section. Ask any questions in the comment section, and I'll do my best to get back to you. So to start off with, I will say a lot of this equipment I had already at my last house before I moved, but one of the things I wanted to do when I did move was set up a dedicated network rack, as you can kind of see here. So I'm going to take you through all of that, but my home is about 50% hardwired Ethernet and the other half Wi-Fi. So I'm using either the UniFi access points, various ones in the house. I've got about 5 of them, I think, and the other stuff is cable. So you can see just down here my little cable run stuff that still needs sorting out, but everything comes through different ceiling voids and eaves and things back to here. So if we start off with at the top of the rack, so I'm currently running Starlink, as you've seen from the other videos. Obviously this is the Starlink access point, which I'm not using, but you have to use this to break out to an Ethernet adapter, which I have, which comes back inside the cabinet, which we'll see at the moment. So a few things I've got set up here. Obviously the Starlink access point, which is semi-redundant. I do have a Govee temperature monitor in here. Obviously being in the loft, I want to make sure things are well ventilated, it doesn't get too hot, so I can monitor that here as well. I have an old Airport Extreme. I still use that for backups of the Macs in the house. I also have a TPLink 4G router / modem, which I use as a backup, so if Starlink ever goes down it will automatically switch over to that's 4G connection on the GSM network. I have a Drobo 5N here. I don't really use that much anymore, it's not currently on. I had a mega issue many years ago where I lost data with this drive and never really had much confidence in it. And I also have a UniFi Protect camera. Not that I expect anyone's going to be in here. The previous owner did have mice and rats at some point in this loft. I've done many checks over the 5 months we've been here, have various traps, not seen any sign of anything, but if there is some activity I want to be able to see it on the camera. So let me just pop the camera down a little bit so I can show you the rack and we go inside. So this rack and all the shelvings in it is something called an LMS data ValuCab. So LMS data, or LMS is the company. And this is a 15U rack and 600mm deep, so I wanted something that was deep enough that if I want to have a kind of 2 or 4U server rack mounted kit in there, it will fit. But obviously because this is in the eaves, didn't want to go back too far, so it was kind of somewhat restricted on the height and the depth. It's a 19-inch rack, so most standard equipment is going to fit in there without any problems. At the top, and again you'll see this when you pop inside, I have a 1U 2-way fan unit, just so that like today if it's a bit hot I can turn that fan on. There's ventilation in the top and the back, and it just means that I know that inside the cab is going to remain relatively cold and it's not too loud, about 27 decibels. If I just shut my mouth for a minute, you have to hear the noise of the rack. Also in there, obviously most things are rack mounted, but a couple of things are on shelves. One of those is, actually I think I have 2 LMS data vented shelves. One of them is 300 meters deep and one of them is 600 meters deep, just so I can keep some non-rack mountable switches on there and some other gear which we'll go through in a moment. And I also have one of the EssCable UniFi Cloud Key shelves, which I just wanted just to neaten things up a little bit. It's a bit overkill really just for the cloud key, but you'll see that when we get in there. And then I have an LMS data cable management brush plate, which I don't actually recommend. It was a bit of a faff and doesn't really neaten anything up because I've not run cables that way, so it's just taking up a U, but not the end of the world. And then basically a load of M6 nuts to make things look relatively tidy. So let me open the door and then I'll show you what it looks like on the inside. Okay, so starting off at the top of the rack is that one new fan unit that I mentioned. So again, just for the cooling. Then we have a surge protected 6-way switch. I mean, not switch, but power distribution unit. So obviously I've got my switches, USG gateways and things all plugged in here. I do have a couple of UPSs at the back of the rack that I use obviously just for power outages and surge protection, that kind of thing. Then the third U, we have that basically brushless plate. I do have the plugs going out of there, but again, they could have come from another way. That is a little bit of a waste. Probably wouldn't get one of those again unless I really needed. Then I have this 24-way UTP Keystone patch panel. So I really recommend the Keystone patch panels. Much easier, especially if you have to move things around. You can easily just kind of patch things in and get them. I use the Connectix patch panel and the UTP toolless Keystone modules as well. They work really, really well. I haven't finished labeling everything up yet. You can't really see it very well on here. But what I've tried to do is anything that is an Ethernet switch or an Ethernet connected port, I've used the yellow cables, but when PoE isn't required. So any of the yellow ones are not supporting PoE back to an Ethernet port in a room. And then the orange ones, they are again any port that doesn't require PoE. So servers, any network equipment here in the rack is on an orange one, and then anything that is PoE that again either relates to a access point or a PoE patch panel, then that is here with the red patch cables. Then green stuff is basically anything that connects two network devices together. So that could be the little mini switch I have at the other side of the house, which is going to be extended in the future if I have a building or a garage extension put there. But it will have cabling that runs over to the other side of the building into another switch cabinet. And then just some purple and other colours for things that connect two switches together or what have you. In terms of my actual switches, I didn't, even though I'm a big UniFi fan, I decided not to go with the UniFi switch products, just basically due to cost, and I didn't need managed switches. So I have here a 16-port gigabit PoE TP-Link switch. It also has, I can't remember the name of the connectors. They're not full fibre, but they are faster if I want to be able to connect the two switches together. But I'm not using that for that. And again, I'm not using all the PoE switches. But again, it's a non-managed switch, but it is PoE. Then just below it, I have another 16-port switch that isn't PoE though, but it isn't a 19-inch rack-mountable one. That just sits on one of these vented shelves. And then I have the UniFi USG security gateway. So that's what I'm using, basically, to connect into the modems for the 4G backup, as well as Starlink and whatever other process I have. Then on the next shelf, as I mentioned, this whole rack is taken up just by this Cloud Key Plus. And the Cloud Key, if you're not familiar with it, it's just how you manage your Ubiquiti stuff. I have had the original Cloud Key once before and did some stuff with Raspberry Pi, but it didn't work very well. But this one works much better, and it has got the hard drive in there as well for the Protect cameras. But again, I've only got the one. Most of my stuff around the rest of the house is Ring, but it gives a little bit of information on the screen, so it looks kind of cool. Then next here is where I have the 300mm vented shelf. So on here I just have a 6-port USB power block, so if I need to charge or power anything that might be USB related, just sits there. In here next to it, you can't really see, it's just a black box, but that is a network TV tuner that I have connected up into it, so I can have live TV connected in through Plex and any mobile devices as I may need. And then right on the end, just kind of set at a bit of an angle, is my Philips Hue network bridge, which just sits there. And then finally, right down the bottom, I have two HP micro servers. One of them is just basically a file server, so all data storage and everything is backed up here. I also have some stuff synced off-site that I need to keep, and then on here is a server just running Plex for all my kind of audio and video stuff. In the future, I would like to swap these out for something a bit more powerful. They've been around for many years now, still work pretty well, but I have plenty of U space, so 2, 4, 6 U to have 2 other servers or one big one put in here at some point. So I might consolidate everything into one a bit more powerful server in the future. But that's it. That is my rack setup, and again, just across the rest of the house, you would have seen in other videos, I've got some of the USG mini flex switches, some of the access points and external antennas to distribute the internet and the network all around the house. But hope that helps. Just a short video, give you some insights into the rack setup. But I'm really happy with this kind of ValuCab. So not the network equipment itself, but all of the cabinet and the shelves. I bought that from Broadband buyer, and that was about £520. And then from Cable Monkey, I bought all the Connectix UTP connectors, Keystone modules, Keystone patch panel, and 305 meters of network cable here, which I'm still going through, along with more faceplates and stuff. Not everywhere's networked up yet, and I've not fully tidied up either, but that's it. So if you have liked this video, please like it, consider subscribing if you haven't done already, and as I mentioned, if you've got any questions, please ask them down in the comments section, or you can feel free to drop into the Discord channel, speak to me and other geeks who like to hang out and talk tech stuff and other things in there. So till the next video, take care of yourself and goodbye for now.